Margulis lemma because we need the parameter there, so the Margulis lemma. Or even before, we assume that no, actually, okay. The Margulis lemma given given n, there are m and epsilon, so n is the dimension. So m is an integer and epsilon is a positive constant, such that if x is let's say Hadamard manifold, with bounded curvature, and gamma in the isometry group is discrete, and x is a point, then gamma x epsilon, which is the group generated by all gamma in gamma, such that the displacement at x is less than epsilon, has a normal important subgroup of index at most. So this is a Hadamard space of dimension n. So that's m and epsilon depend on the dimension. And you can also, if you want, maybe later you can also bound it in potency degree, but so far we don't. Today we will not need that, but we will need this m and epsilon. So from now on, epsilon is this epsilon, and m is this m. And let me recall some definition from last week. An isometry. Gamma is called M stable if mean gamma, the set where gamma extends the minimal displacement, equals mean gamma to the I for all I which is at most n. That's what. So the minimal set can increase when you take power. A priori, cannot decrease, but it's always a totally geodesic submanifold. So the dimension is bounded, and so it can increase finitely many times. So you can always replace gamma by some power such that you cannot never increase, but this power will be large. But if you only want that it will not increase for small powers, then there is this lemma that we had from last week. Maybe I gave it as an exercise. There exists m. M is not good, but let's say there exists a m star. It's an integer depending on m, such that for every gamma in the isometry group of x, there exists I, or I which is at most m star, such that gamma to the I is m stable. I can replace gamma by some bounded power which become maybe not totally stable, but m stable. So m this M star depends on M. And we denote, and if I is the minimal one, for the minimal I, such I, we denote we denote by gamma star to be gamma to the I. So gamma star is a small or bounded power of gamma, and it's M stable. So I can replace every element by a bounded power which is M stable. That's what is given by this lemma. And maybe I want to say one thing is that the displacement of gamma star at any point x is at most M star, the displacement, or right, it's most M star, the displacement of gamma. You see that. Because gamma star is a gamma to the I, where I is at most M star. So, okay, this is to have in mind, keep in mind. And okay. So again, the goal is to bound the complexity of a manifold if we only know a bound on its volume. So how the volume control the complexity, and the idea is to decompose the manifold to a thick and thin part, and to control each of them. But the better idea is to find to bound the complexity of the thick part, and to show that if we remove a small set from the thin part, from the space itself, then there is a deformation retract. So okay, so let's recall some definition. So first, so again, let M be an X manifold, so it's X mod gamma, an X manifold, and gamma is the group of text of function, it's the fundamental group of M. This is and now I define the stable, let's say the stable singular, the M stable singular subset of X. I denote it by N tilde. It will be the union of all minimum of gamma over all gamma which is not 1, M stable, and such that the norm, the spectrality of gamma is less than M. Whenever, if you want, I remove all short stable geodesic, if you want. But it's not just geodesic, it's the minimal set of stable elements which has small displacement. Rho gamma is I remind you, Rho gamma was the infimum of D gamma. So if you want, if gamma is parabolic, then this set is empty, but if gamma is hyperbolic, this is some totally geodesic submanifold. It's a union of all the excess of gamma. And this is the stable singular subset, and I denote by N to be the quotient of N tilde, or if you want, it's N tilde divided by gamma. So N tilde is gamma invariant, and I can divide it. Or if you want, N tilde is gamma precisely invariant. It's not a connected set, but no, it's a gamma invariant. But it's not a connected set. But the quotient is also not connected necessarily. But this is the N tilde. And then there are two results. Okay. Now I define the stable thick part. epsilon stable epsilon, the m epsilon, or let's just call it the stable thick part.
Sorry, pi is the covering knot.
Huh?
Pi is the covering knot from m tilde.
What?
Pi is from m tilde to m.
Yeah, pi is the, yes.
Yeah.
This is the projection, the covering knot. Yes, this is the map from X to Y. And the thick part, or the m epsilon stable thick part, m epsilon stable thick part, I define it by, let's say, m bigger than epsilon star. Let's first define it by tilde. Is to be is the or let's define the thin part first. The m epsilon stable thin part is the union of all t gamma less than epsilon such that gamma is not 1 and gamma is m stable. By the way, if gamma is parabolic element, so automatically it's stable. For parabolic element, the minimal set is empty, so it's automatically stable. But for hyperbolic, I may replace every element by some power. But okay, this is the stable thin part. If you want, okay, and then I defined the stable thick part to be the complement. We define, so this is less than epsilon, and the stable thick part is star is just the complement, x minus m less than epsilon, and the quotient of it to m, again it's a gamma invariant set, and I can project it to m, and the stable thick part would be the stable thick part will be m bigger than epsilon. This will be just the quotient by gamma of m. That's the stable thick part. M epsilon. Any problem here?
No.
Okay, and then here is what I am going to prove today. I only know, okay, so far I know it. I'm quite sure it works in general, but so far I know in detail the proof only for M compact. So no, there are two theorems. Theorem 1.
M and epsilon are independent. Can
What?
we change epsilon according to m?
The little m and epsilon. Epsilon and m are the Margulis constants. They are given by the Margulis lemma, and sometimes people care what is the largest epsilon, which is best for a given dimension. So of course, if we take smaller epsilon, it will work as well, and if you take bigger m, it will work as well. If you remember in the proof that I gave, we choose first m, and then we took epsilon to be 1 over m. But it was just a matter of the proof.
So they're not different.
Yeah, there is the best m and the best epsilon, but
And the best epsilon for a given m, right?
no, well,
That's my question.
yeah, and you say, can you get a better m? So m is M you can control independently of epsilon somehow, because there are theorem like Jordan theorem, that if you have a finite subgroup of GLN, then it has subgroup of bounded index which is a billion. And there are similar theorem if you have a solvable subgroup or virtually solvable or virtually important group, a discrete group in GLN, then you can also bound the virtual the index. So you can bound it independently of epsilon. You can bound M. But
you can get different optimal epsilons for different M's, right? Or does it say that no?
I don't think. So we can think through it, and in fact, there are some tasks people would like to know what is the best epsilon for a given dimension, even in the hyperbolic case. And I think there are estimates, but nobody knows the optimal epsilon. So that was the interest of various people. They studied the various papers in the literature that study the Margulis constant, the epsilon. M is a different. There are other papers from other people who don't really care about usually about Margulis lemma. There are more algebraic paper which study the virtual index, the M, in more general settings, like virtually solvable subgroup of GLN. What can you say about the index? So there are results about this. It's not very geometric. It's more algebraic group. But okay. But for us, okay, we fix the epsilon and M, and you will see that we are not very economic with the constant later on. We will wait. So in fact, all the results that we obtain about homotopy type, about the homotopy type, it turns out that some people from other fields, from K theory and other fields, cares about the precise estimate, like the precise constant, not just the asymptotic that it's linear with the volume, but they care about the precise. And the proof that we give here is not economic, so maybe it's not good for them. So if one of you likes this mathematics and wants to go into the proofs and improve constant, there are work to do. Okay, so the first theorem is that there is a deformation retract from M minus N, call it N, yeah, from N minus N to M to the stable C.
So last week you did that without the star.
Yeah,
Is it not true, or you just
no,
did
it's true. The formation of type is true like I did last week and like I do before, but the next theorem I don't know without the star.
Oh.
So this theorem, the star doesn't matter for this theorem so much. You can play with it. And the second theorem, theorem 2, and I think it's true without the assumption, but